Let's make games. All right. No intro this time. Let's just literally just get right to it. Oh wait, actually one quick intro. Doop doop. No, this is just me wasting time while I click a couple buttons, but then we'll get right to it. I swear. Close these windows and okay, here we go. So as we left it yesterday, we can take a quick look at what we had at the end of the day yesterday. Oh wait, actually one quick thing. I'm gonna make just 'cause I'm working in two versions of the script right now. I'm gonna save a copy of the script that's running, so that way if I make changes to both versions, I can integrate them cleanly later. Okay, and then right. So for this version of the script, this is set as false. Okay, good. If we run this, we can see just quickly what like how we kind of like set up the tableaus yesterday. So if we activate archery, we have this first tableau is looking pretty good now. We have like the flags flapping, we have like the better art. This tableau still needs a little work. For one thing, the art's not final, and I changed the color of the flag and stuff like that. This tableau I'm happy with. It runs longer than it's about to run, but the full duration. Oh no, apparently it's running its full duration. Okay, yeah. So that one I'm fine with. And then this one needs a ton of work. This one has like nothing done, nothing final. So the arrow animation, for example, oh yeah, and apparently it just flits by really fast. So like the arrow animation and the targets will be easy. The arrow animation is really the big thing remaining, and I don't even know how difficult that will be. I mean, we'll see. I don't want to jinx it. So let's start with the second tableau, I guess. Not this one, the long view. I mean, I'm still thinking like maybe I want to get rid of this tableau. Probably not. I'll probably keep it. Just on the off chance that I'm gonna get rid of it, I wouldn't want to work on it first. I would want to save it till later. So yeah, you know what? I'll just do the other one first because I have no uncertainty about cutting the last one. The last one is very important. The last one is the one where we get all the results. So this one, for example, like really easily I can just update the target images, and then I need the arrow animation. So that one actually doesn't need that much work. So hey, there's still some, once I finish the art, like hypothetically then the event type like works. But the thing about that is that we don't have, the event type works, it's just not hooked up to anything. So, well, when I say works, I mean like hypothetically it works. I haven't actually like fully tested it yet, but part of the reason that we won't have fully tested it is that it's there are no events actually like authored to like use it. So like we can run tests just by like manually initiating the event and stuff, but it won't come up spontaneously of its own. So there's some setup work to do there as well. So maybe once we finish these art pieces, we'll get to some coding and refactor like how we load events, how we store data, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's open. Yeah, let's start with the big target that we have for. Why does it always put me here? I never want to look at that folder. I want to look at this folder. Archery, aim. Yeah, so I'm going to borrow this target real quick because we're just going to use this target as the basis for the other targets, the triple target image. Although, yeah, the other targets are shrunk down, so I'll have to clean up the lines. Okay, whatever. Copy this, file, open, archery, hits, targets. Yeah, so this is like one of the images that we'll be updating. So for example, we can kind of slap this on here. Okay, in this image, like the rough like layout of these targets is actually really important because I calculated the arrow positions to hit relative to this size target. So I'll have to make sure that I'm preserving that I'm not changing that dramatically. So let's put this down here for a moment and set the background to be somewhat transparent. And then let's move this around. Basically, well, so for one thing, I need to change the scale, right? Because like clearly this one's a lot smaller. That's close though. That's very close. I might just nudge it a little further. Try and get it to line up as close as possible. Because that might be a little too small. I might have gone a little too far with that one. That might be a little too tall. That's looking about right. It doesn't have to be literally exact, because the lines of the image that we have there are very like smudgy and wiggly and fidgety. But as long as it's lining up like very closely, then that should be good. And so we can kind of use this as like a basis and draw the rest of the. Here, I'm gonna make this even more faint, and then bring this layer up, and now let's draw in the rest of that. The rest of this target here. Bigger brush. Here we are. So again, we'll be using the this outer circle as like a guide, but oops. we'll also be making it rounder than the squiggly lines had it. Actually, you know what? For starters, I'm just gonna fill in like the whole thing, like this red color, just so that there's no gaps, and then yeah. Actually, I'll put this back one. Oh wait, no, I can't really do that because the color picking will get screwed up. All right, whatever. I don't need that guideline image. I can just make them round, and it should work out quite well. What the heck? Oh, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. Layers, and stupidity, and other wonderful things in Paint.net. This should be like my last art project in Paint.net. I should officially retire Paint.net after I finish making like these art assets here, because like I'm so done with Paint.net. It's served its purpose, and there are a few things. If I switch over to a different art program, I'll probably have to like convert over. Like some of the art production files that I have are it's looking good. Some of the art production files I have are in Paint.net file formats. Stupid layers. So I'll have to convert some of that stuff, but for the most part, I think it'll be worth the effort. I think it'll be worth the time and energy involved in making those conversions. Okay. So I'm just gonna use the same target image. I might wiggle the lines a little bit just so it doesn't look quite so samey, but I'm gonna use basically the same target. I'm not gonna go through a bunch of hassle redrawing all of this just for the other two frames, because it's actually supposed to be this. Actually, yeah, it's supposed to be the same target 3 times over, kind of. I mean, they're basically supposed to be identical. I don't even know. It's it's a little abstract, and so the the story of what the targets that we're shooting at is a little bit concrete and a little bit of a lie as well, because so the archery events, when we actually have the archery events in game, they won't just be hey, you're shooting at targets again, or you're shooting at these stuffed straw targets again. Hypothetically, there's actually going to be story behind them, what you might be shooting at any given circumstance. So while it always looks like these targets, while the art doesn't change contextually for events, at least not yet. That was something I was thinking as maybe a feature for maybe not for every event having different target art, but it's something that I could swap out at some point if I want to. But yeah, no, for starters, it's basically the target always depicts the event always depicts these targets, but depending on what's happening in the story, it might not just be straw targets, right? It could be symbolic of something else. So the bottom I don't have to be quite as precise about, because the bottom actually doesn't serve any gameplay purpose. arrows always hit actually above the middle of the target, just cause. Oh yeah, so like last time, I'm just gonna fill everything in red first, and then I'll go in and put the white line. Okay, so hold on, let's fix this up. And this, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And yeah, okay. So what then? Yeah, I just have to finish up this line here, I suppose, and then yeah. So okay, so for the temp arrow animation, I just like tried like whatever. Like I had no clue how that animation was gonna work. I just like plugged in whatever, and I was really thrilled. Not because the result was like great, but because it was like entirely satisfactory. Like I just kind of like, took a shot in the dark kind of, and it mostly worked, and that was like outstanding. I was not expecting that, and yeah. So the really good news about coming out of that is that I don't have to make fundamental changes to like how that animation system works. One thing I will do, I think, is to add several more frames of animation. Right now, there's the pshhhew, which is the arrow flying towards its target. There's the THWAP, which is the arrow hitting the target, and there's like the bwawawa, which is the arrow like vibrating slightly. Although actually those two are the same frame. Like the arrow like vibrates as when it hits the target. So I think I'm going to add in separate frames. So like when the arrow hits the target, it will be like vibrating wildly a little bit, and then the next frame it'll be vibrating like less, and then it will come to a rest. So it's just like a slightly exaggerated or like a slight, just ever so slightly prolonged. Right now the animation is like so fast that you're more likely to miss it than to see it. But it's still supposed to be subtle. It's not supposed to be like it's not supposed to be like prolonged or like drawn out or like, I mean, at one point I was thinking of like maybe doing time dilation effects, but not even for that. Like that's like hypothetically I could make it like the arrow hit the target in like slow motion, but like I don't have any particular interest there. It's supposed to be more sudden and dramatic, like very punctuated. So yeah, just smoothing out these lines of this target a little bit, and then okay, that should be good. So save that. Oops, no, right, it's on multiple layers. So don't save it yet. Because I want to keep these black bars, so I'm not going to get rid of that other layer entirely. Instead, I'm going to move this layer back up to the top, this ghosty layer, and let's copy this. Copy from this layer, paste, and line this up now. So let's get it square to the top of the screen, and then shift it so it's mostly centered. Huh, this one doesn't seem to line up quite as nicely. Is that my imagination, or no? No, I guess it's about as... Yeah, it lines up pretty well. Alright, so that little dark dot in the center of the screen, that is actually the center. Oh, so I guess actually it should be shifted up a little bit. I was also noticing that it was that the composition was shifted like such that the target was like a little bit low. So I think I will shift it up actually. just because I want the center of the target to be, yeah, like I said, if the, like the variation now that like we're really diverging like from the original image down here on the bottom, but that doesn't actually matter because like the bottom doesn't serve a gameplay function. Like by shifting it up, we line up better at the top of the screen, and that's like the part that's important. Hey Zira, how's it going? Welcome. So yeah, I think this is actually a better position. And you know, I'm gonna put it here for now. I'm gonna select the entire image, so I'll be shifting both of them together. And I'll shift that up a little bit like that, just because I think that's like that gets the bullseye a little better centered relative to the center of the screen, and it lines up, the edges line up better with the curves of the temp art. So yeah, and then actually for this one in particular, I think I have it. So now then I'll reselect just this side again because I think this one is also 1 pixel too far to the side, so I'll also shift it over by 1. Okay. Good then. I mean, it's kind of cheating because like whereas this this image has like a single pixel in the center of the image, this one actually like the width of this is even, so there's no like 1 pixel in the center. So for like the pixel in the center, we had to like fudge it. There's actually like 2 pixels in the center. 2 center pixels, yeah. Okay, so right, so now let's justify the bottom of the image because we now have a gap at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, archery. Archery has become quite a feature. I think I started it last Tuesday, and so I think this is officially now. We've been working on it for more than a week. Oh no, I guess yesterday we were working on it for more than a week. Wait, what is today? Is today Wednesday? I've lost track of time. But yeah, archery. The good news is like we're basically done. Like the feature like works. Like we're making nice art for it now, which is, you know, fancy. Not necessary. You can play it without fancy art. And well, so the only reason it's not like in the game, like in the game yet, is because I also haven't like made any events that actually use it yet. So how does archery work? Yeah, here I'll give a quick run through in just a second. It's not going to be like timed well, but whoops, no, I didn't mean to say that. Yeah, so here's just like the quick rundown. So the timing is going to be way off. It's like some of these scenes are going to go too fast and some of these scenes are going to go too slow. But all right, so let's say an archery event occurs. So activate archery is just my test button here. So the action tag's over here, and you see the target, you can see the wind, and so like you use the action. Yeah, so that one went too fast, but like you use the action tags to like line up your shot relative to like where it's aimed and where the wind is blowing and stuff like that. And then so it shows like these little tableaus like between when you pick your actions and when it shows the results, which it'll switch to in just a second. So this is what we're working on right now. It's the results screen. So it shows the targets and it shows the arrows hitting the target. And it didn't show it very long, but you kind of see like it showed a target, it showed an arrow hitting the target, and then it showed a percentage. The percentages that are shown there are like representative of, you know, at the end of the event, like Trusty Bard says like how many adventurers like got perfect, how many adventurers got nice. It's kind of like the visual representation of that. It shows the 3 targets. One of them is going to hit the bullseye. One of them's not going to hit the bullseye, but it's going to get relatively close. One of them's going to hit like around the edges, like not very close. So thank you. So it shows like it'll show you percentages like who got close to the target, who didn't get, or like, you know, what percentage of players got close to the target, what percentage of players didn't. And you're also noticing, you might notice that it's repeating, and that's it's because there are 3 rounds of firing in each individual archery event. Each round of firing only takes like a minute, whereas like a typical event in side quest takes about 3 minutes. So we just do it like several times over. Yeah. So right. So it's the system's all working. Like I said, like it's not going to happen. Like archery's not going to happen like in the version that's running at the bottom of the screen because there's no archery authored into the game yet. But I mean, it could happen, and like, I don't know. I do also have the activate archery button over there. But right. So I'm when we finish up this art, then the art will not be temp anymore, and then I'll actually want to like start authoring it in. Because right now it looks so like it doesn't look good yet. It's getting there. It's getting better and better every day. But we're close to to having it look good, I guess. Okay. So we need one more target over on the far side. And that's pretty much all we need for this background. It's very simple. I mean, I was talking about like how I render these targets, and I might want to add like more detail in some regard. I might want to change it so that these oops, yeah, this is the one that doesn't have the bottom justification, or doesn't have the wait, hold on, actually, so let's get rid of that for a second. Right, I only drew in the bottom on the one in the middle. So first, let's copy this one over here so that they all have bottoms. So this goes here, I think. Here? No, here's good. Okay. And then, okay. And then let's put one on the other side as well. Yeah, I was thinking I might like render some more like depth or like tone or something to the targets to make them look a little less flat, but I don't need that necessarily. So, all right, let's put the background back down. Let's put it back up to full opacity so that we have these bars in between, and I think this is good. I think we can now squish the layers together and save that. And that's our new target art. And so now it's the THWAP, bwawawas, the THWAP, bwawawas. Yeah, how does the stream delay affect the archery? That's so here, actually, I'll just that's a really good question. And I mean, like, as with everything in side quest, stream delay is like the biggest, like, oh, but wait. So I'm gonna just hey, that's new follower sounds. Yoshi XXXXXX. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for following. I'm gonna put the timing speed to the actual timing real quick. It's 25 seconds for the first tableau, 15 seconds for the second tableau, 15 seconds for the third tableau, and then 20 seconds for the final tableau. So here's how it's going to actually feel with like real timing. And so as we watch it, I'll talk a little bit about like how this works. So activate archery. So the archery event begins, and so you have this is the first tableau. This one lasts 25 seconds. It's the longest. This is the most critical because this is when you're getting your important gameplay information. This is the only tableau for which these action tags appear on the screen. Because this is when really you're supposed to be like participating in the event. So this event lasts 25, or this tableau lasts for 25 seconds. So you have 25 seconds, and like as per usual, there'll be like the start of event noise. So like when you hear the start of event noise, you can check the image, check the graphics to like try and get your bearings. And so this tableau is just strictly for like, you know, it's just strictly for visual interest, I guess, and this one as well. Like nothing meaningful regarding gameplay is happening here. The reason we're showing these is because by the end of this third tableau, nearly an entire minute will have elapsed from the start of the event to the results. And what we're using that minute for is to accommodate stream delay. So you actually have like, I mean, there's like about a minute. There's 55 seconds between the start of the event and when the results are tabulated and calculated. So those were the arrows like landing at the target. Those ones still have temp art, so bear with. So there's actually like 55 seconds between when the event starts and when the data is tabulated. However, stream delay is typically about 20 seconds long and can be up to, I mean, it can be longer than a minute, which is just unfortunate, and like there's not a convenient way to accommodate that scenario, so I actually don't accommodate that scenario. But typically, with an average stream delay of 20 seconds, that affords you 25 seconds to, or wait, no. Yeah, no, with an average stream delay of 20 seconds, that affords you 35 seconds to basically like scope out the initial scene where you had like the wind position, the aiming position in the wind, and basically input your commands. So it's a little snappier. But that was so typically an event in side quest is more about strategy, right? It's more about like surveying the scene and like, you know, kind of like strategizing. I wanted an event that played in a different way. So with archery, it's not about like this long like debate. It's not about like this conversation about, you know, you know, how to approach the event. It's more about like quick rapid fire, like 3 rounds of like quick rapid fire decisions, and then so the outcomes are based on how well you did in all 3 rounds. So yeah, that's roughly how it works so far. I mean, I implemented like the gameplay systems back on like last week, and then yesterday I just redid all of the game systems like several times over. So I don't know. I might change it again, but that's how it works now. Uh, so yeah. Okay, so the THWAPs, the THWAP, the pshhhew THWAP bwawawas. That's like the last, or I mean, that's like one of the last items to do for this stuff. So that's exciting. Okay, so we have the right now they're just like THWAP 0, THWAP 1, THWAP 2. So for one thing, we're gonna have 4 of these instead of just 3. So I'll just make another one. So I'll just say save as THWAP 3. The other thing is that these are all gonna get bigger. I don't want this to get cut off. Like this has to be big enough so that it even if the arrow is hitting on the, oh yeah, it has to be this big. It has to be like this big basically, because it has to be, even if the arrow is hitting all the way on this edge, like the arrow has to like still streak across the screen. And so one of the other things, I think the arrow right now, it's very angled like this. I think I'm gonna make it a little less angled, so it's gonna be a little more like this, and maybe a little more foreshortened too, so it looks a little more like it's like, you know, not going across the screen, but like at the screen kind of situation. So yeah, I'll want to make both of those changes, I think. So file, open THWAP 2. So yeah, I think this size is probably pretty good, because we never want to go off the target. So yeah, let's go with this. I'm just gonna copy, or I'm gonna just put in a new layer, blank layer, copy from the blank layer. So I basically copied nothing. All I copied was the size, and then I'm gonna just use this to expand the. Oops, yeah. Oh, that works. Okay. So I'll paste it to expand the canvas, and then I'll just hit undo, and it'll not have ruined the image. Well, actually, no. You know what will be easier is instead of doing that, let's so what are these coordinates, or what is the size here? The bounding rectangle is 272 by 180. So let's say adjust image canvas size, anchor to the top corner, 272 by 180, and then it'll anchor it to the top corner for us, because that's the corner that we actually want to anchored to. Yes. Oh, and I guess I didn't actually have to make it quite so tall. No, this is good. It's good tall. Hypothetically, I could make it even a little bit taller, but no, this is good, because we don't want it to hit off the top of the screen either. Okay, so whoa, I have no clue what's going on here, but adjust image canvas size 272 by 180, and image canvas size 272 by 180. Whoops. There we go. Not 272,180. That would be a very long image. 272 by 180. Okay. So this image will like, you know, I'll make it like not as like, I'll make the art less rough, but like this frame of the image will stay the same, in that it's just an arrow stuck into the target, because this is what we see for most of the time. This is like after that one is like after the arrow has landed, and it's just resting inert in the target. This middle one it won't just be inert, so like what we're depicting here a little bit sort of is like when the arrow hits the target, it'll like, it hits with a lot of force, right? And so it has a lot of momentum, and then the momentum stops. And so because it's not hitting like literally perfectly, there's going to be like a little bit of waver to it, like as it hits the target. So it's going to come flying in, it's going to hit the target, and it's going to hit the target and be like wavering a little bit from that impact. And it's going to like go, like it's going to like the bwawawa, it's going to like shake a little bit at first, and then this first frame is when it's shaking a lot, and then it's shaking a little bit, and then it comes to a rest. And this happens literally over 4 frames, and the game is running at 30 frames per second. So this is like a very, very fraction of a second sort of thing. But you can, like, the eye does perceive that sort of animation, like, very subtly. Like, it's a blink and you miss it sort of thing, but, like, if you don't blink, you can actually perceive it. So, yeah. And so this is the first shot. This is the one where the arrow's like just streaking towards the target, and this one's just going to get longer. This is just going to get like even more protracted and drawn out. Although, like I said, I'm going to try and change like the composition a little bit too, so it like looks like it's coming more like from the camera into the target instead of like across the okay. So, yeah, let's. I think I'll start by rendering the arrow, because once we know what the arrow itself really looks like, then and we might be changing some of it, right? Because I mean, we changed the shaft of the arrow. We changed it to a different color. Actually, let's open one of our reference images. Let's open archery. Oh, I can get rid of these. These are not real things. I won't get rid of the storyboard because this was back the other day, like when we were like specking out like what it's supposed to look like. Oh, look at it! It's so cute. Sorry. If I open, no, let's look at the close-up framing. Right, because our actual like the color of our arrow is a lot darker now. So for one thing, it's a lot darker. We also have the color of our arrowhead, which is probably, whoops, not quite all of that. We have the color of our arrowhead, which is, I use the lighter tone. Actually, that one I guess didn't change very much. Ah, stupid. Stupid how paint.net like changes the color of the spilled paint if you switch tabs. I'm so done with paint.net. I'm so done with paint.net. Death to paint.net. Okay, a little bit darker. And then, oh, stupid! All of them changed. All of them freaking changed because I hate paint.net. Not because I hate paint.net, but I hate paint.net because they all changed. Are they good now? Are they not gonna freak out? Alright. Okay. So, arrow first. Yeah, so it's gonna be, it's probably not even gonna be quite this long. It's probably gonna be like, here, let's zoom in a little bit. So, right, this is the arrow sticking into the very upper corner. Actually, I'm going to zoom in further. Alright, I'm going to move this, because we're going to be working in, like, that upper corner of the screen for these images. Because I want to basically, like, maximize the extent to which it's, like, I don't want to use unnecessarily much space, but, Alright, well, someday perhaps you'll not use paint.net also because of me. Yeah, it's just getting to the point where like I spend so much time cursing paint.net, like just complaining about paint.net on stream, that I literally can't justify it, because like it's literally to the point that like I don't like the things that I'm saying because of how annoyed I am at paint.net. Like paint.net can do a lot of things and that's great and all, but like if I wasn't streaming, I'd probably still use paint.net. But like I literally like paint.net just makes me upset, and I don't want to be upset. Like I want to be saying interesting things, not just standing here being like so so like that's literally the reason why I'm going to stop using paint.net in the near future. Probably. I mean, for all I know, I'm going to say I'm not going to, because I've done this before, right? I've been like, oh, I should use a different paint program. And then I came back to paint.net because I realized that like, oh, well, actually no, it can do these things that I've gotten used to, and so maybe it's not so bad after all. But I mean, it is pretty bad, so I do want to find something else. Oh, this is very downward pointed. I said I didn't want it to be quite so downward pointed anymore. So yeah, I guess I will draw it further out instead of quite so downward. I'm basically trying to make it look foreshortened. I don't know how to do that. Or I don't know if I mean, I know roughly how to do that. I just don't know if it's really coming across as that. This should be fun. And then, okay, so this is like the shaft of the arrow. Like a lot of it is sunk into the target, but then a lot of it is like extending outwards. And so now let's put the feathers on the arrows. We did white feathers before. Although with the red and white targets, we probably want to use a different color of feather, just because where the feathers overlap the white of the background, it's not going to be very visible. So maybe instead we'll use like I don't want to use blue. I used purple for the flag. So like not red, blue, purple. I guess green. Green feathers. Green feathers. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. Okay. So I'm going to make a separate layer just because I don't know what I'm doing with these feathers yet. So it could get out of control. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to like green. Maybe I'll use like yellow. Yellow could be good. Not like a dirty yellow though. Not like a super bright yellow either. Like a medium yellow. Yellow? Maybe a lighter yellow, or like a less vibrant yellow. Huh. Is it gonna look weird if like it's a nearly white yellowish color? Is that gonna look weird against the that might itself look weird against the setting of the white on the target. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I might want to make like a few of this frame of animation, because like if I only have like one of these if I only have one of these arrows, then all of the arrows will like land in the target with the exact same orientation, which would be a little weird. Little atypical for something like that to happen. So that might be worth thinking about. But I still don't know like what color. Like this is roughly what it's gonna look like. This is like roughly the shape of the feathers. Maybe wait, what is it? Oh no, it's because I'm not right. I was like something's not quite right about this. I was cutting too far into the like the foreshortening here. So yeah, so roughly like this I think is roughly what the arrows will look like. I have to look at what an arrow looks like because this doesn't feel like an arrow to me. So arrow images. Oh yeah, of course it's gonna show me the TV show. What are those things called? Like the fletchings? Fletching. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there are more than just two. I think that was what was like looking weird to me. It looked too simple with just two of them. Other than that, like they are pretty simple. They're basically just like, maybe I should use green because like all these are green. Maybe I was on the right track with green actually. Yeah, no, I think that the important thing is that I just need more of them because only having two looks weird. Like it didn't look like it just didn't look like an arrow. It looked like, I don't know, some weird stick with like two yellow things poking out. Which I guess is technically what it was. Alright, so let's have one come like out and down, and then we have the other come out like out and up. So let's use a smaller brush for this. So yeah, this one will come like out and down, and then this one will come out and up, I guess. Up, I guess like down, out, like out like this, I guess. I wish it wouldn't connect. I wish these two wouldn't connect. So I'll just cheat it so that they don't. And then, yeah, basically just like that or something. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with this either. So, oh yeah, no, actually, you know what? I'm gonna rotate it. I just don't like this particular orientation. I just want it because like it doesn't read quite right. So I do want I want this one to have the rim it needs to like come out and over, and then maybe I should switch to green too, Green did look fine on those other arrows. Oh no, I was thinking I wouldn't like green because like I wouldn't like how green would sit against red. Green and red are like they're opposite colors on the color wheel, and so as a result, they like they have a very distinct contrast to each other. Like they, when you put green against red, it looks a very certain way. And for one thing, it looks Christmassy, which I'm not necessarily going for. This is not like Christmas archery. This is just regular archery. Okay, so still not quite there yet, but better, I guess. I hope. Or is it? I don't know. I can't even tell if this is how this is coming out. Maybe I just need it on like a different background. I'll try just for temp. I'm going to put it on like that. I'm going to put it on like this background because this is like this is the context in which we'll be seeing it. So I'm just putting in a new layer. Keep canvas size. Let's move this layer down here and just shift it. Yeah, because like this is how it'll actually be like sticking into the canvas, right? Or the sticking into the target. So let's see how this goes. Something about this angle is just like melting my brain for some reason. Oh, I think this would come further down. This would. Oh, this would come much further across. It wouldn't come like down so much. It would be more across. This would be maybe a little more angly than that, but like not much more. Why am I failing at this so hard? No, it would come like much more across. And I guess this is the edge, this is the butt of the arrow right here. Here, I'm even gonna indicate that. I don't know if I necessarily want to indicate it for like the final image, but for now I'm just gonna just to get the try and get accomplished what I'm trying to accomplish here. This is like the butt of the arrow, right? And okay, so right, the fletching comes out, and like, what the frick tool is that? It's the stupid R tool. I have no clue what it does, except makes like weird nightmares on the page. Oops, no, wrong color. Okay. So let's dial that back a little bit. Okay, I think that looks better. Yeah, I think that's looking better. And actually, I guess this wouldn't even be quite as pronounced. It'd be a little flatter. It would just come like out more. Oh no, it wouldn't be. You're right. It wouldn't. It'd be significantly less. Okay, I think this is about as much as I care to do with this. So we'll call this good and move on. For now, we can always come back to it if we need to. All right, so yeah, then okay. So one quick thing in terms of the shape is that this is like this would be up a little bit further, and not quite that far though. Yeah, the edge, the end of it, we don't actually want necessarily to have that filled in like that. We can indicate the end of the arrow. And I guess actually we could put some shading on the arrow too if we wanted to. Like we could just yeah, I guess why not? Like we can just put like oops, this one. It's like a line of shading across the bottom here. Oh, and then oh, interesting. One thing that'd be kind of nice is if we could shade the area around the around where the arrow hits, or do something around the place where the arrow hits. The thing is, the arrow is going to hit either on red or white fabric, and we don't know which of those it's going to hit on. So like, in order to shade around that, we wouldn't necessarily know like what tone to be shading it. Oh, so we can just use generic like opacity, right? Because like with opacity, Yeah, so, okay, weird. This isn't usually how I shade things, but let's try going with like just a dark color and putting it down to like a lower opacity. Actually, no, let's do it at full opacity. Let's, yeah. Uh, okay, we'll put in a new layer for this, and then we'll just put in like a shadow for the arrow against the target. Uh, which I think would be roughly like so. How does that look? No, that doesn't look quite right. Yeah, how does the shading usually go on these scenes? It goes like, it's weird working like in this weird upper corner up here. It like, I probably should have just slid it down to the center of the screen to do this, but alright, so what if the shadow is like, more like that? Uh, or would it be longer? Would it be like, oh yeah, because the arrow itself is not actually that short. Like the arrow is like foreshortened because it's like sticking into the thing, but like the arrow itself would be a bit longer. Oh, this isn't gonna work though. No, I can't do it like that because if the arrow hits like over here, then the shadow would be like extending down like off the screen like that or off the target, and that would look weird. So I can't do that actually. So maybe I shouldn't go like for the full shadow. Maybe I should just do like a little shading around the base of the arrow. So let's slide this down, and so yeah, I'm just thinking like it's not going to be this dark. It's just going to be, I'm just like drawing it in slightly dark for starters, and then but then yeah, what we can do is we can just like turn this to much lower opacity, so it's just like a slight dim. I don't know. Uh, it's just supposed to be like a bit of shading around where the arrow hit, but like I guess we don't really need quite that much of it, so it'll just be like a little bit of shading around where the arrow hit. And so now like because we're doing it with like with just like opacity instead of tone or anything, then like no matter where on the target the arrow hits, it'll always have that like that little bit of shading, but it'll always match the tone of like wherever it hits. So I think that's pretty good for now. I might want to change it later, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this this big target thing in the background here for now, and let's work on some of the other ones. Okay, so yeah, now that we know, here I'll squish these layers together, at least temporarily. Copy that and paste this. Actually, I should oh, whoops, that I I squished them down onto the one with like low opacity, so that didn't work quite right. Now how does this work? Oh, weird. Okay, so I guess I have to I'll make a new layer with full opacity. I'll squish the partial opacity onto the full opacity layer, so it'll stay. Okay, and then I'll squish these together. And then I'll copy this, and then I'll paste this, and that way we'll have the yes, the transparency will be preserved. Okay, good. And then I'll undo the squishing over here, just in case I want to edit it more. Okay. So this is the one where there's supposed to be like a little bit of like waver to it. Like it's supposed to still be a little bit vibraty. So basically to accomplish that, we'll want to wait, how does this look like in the full size view? Does this look like an arrow stuck into a target? Yeah, kind of does. It can use a little work. I might want to like shave it down a little bit because it looks a little meaty. It looks a little too thick right now. But that's, you know, that's a relatively small detail. The fletching still looks stupid. I still don't like it.